Typically, when women come into our practice, they aren't actually obsessing with very much because I think that the current medical system really disempowers them. It doesn't really give them the opportunity to participate very fully in their fertility journey. And so typically they're really just looking for answers. They just don't know what to do. And they're always really surprised when I talk to them about the conceivable cycle. You know, I say, like, during our clinical experience, we looked at all the menstrual cycles, all the parameters around their basal body temperatures, around their menstrual cycle, and their habits around their lifestyle. And what did those look like of the women who were struggling to get pregnant? I was really interested in sort of what was the profile. As an acupuncturist, we're always looking for patterns. How do patterns present, and how do they interrelate? But as we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people coming through our practice, then we started having a lot of pregnancies. And so I started really carefully looking at, now what is the profile of the woman who couldn't get pregnant before but suddenly now can get pregnant? What does her BBT look like? What does her menstrual cycle like? And what is her lifestyle like? And so after seeing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds over the last 10 or 15 years, we came up with what we called a conceivable cycle. And so every time I have the opportunity to meet with a woman, I always tell her that my job is to figure out where you are in that spectrum of where you can't get pregnant, and how do I use the Conceivable program to slowly move you across that spectrum into as close as we can to the conceivable cycle. And they always like, well, what's the conceivable cycle? Tell me. It's like the secret magic sauce. And there's no magic in it. It's just the state in which women are most fertile. And the reality is that in my clinical experience, 90 or better % of all women, regardless of what they're currently presenting with, can have a conceivable cycle. So it means that they have a regularly occurring 28-day cycle. That when their period comes, they have 4 days of bleeding. Each day they have enough blood to soak a tampon or a pad every 4 hours. The blood is fresh red. There's no clotting. There's no cramping. There's no spotting. Ovulation occurs on cycle day 14 with no pain and no indication other than cervical discharge that's abundant, clear, and stretchy. And when I tell women this, and then their basal body temperatures are, in the low 97s before ovulation and the high 98s after ovulation. And when I tell women that, they're like, I could never have that. Mine is so far away from that. Or they cry because they feel like their cycle is so far away from the conceivable cycle, and they feel like, no wonder I'm not getting pregnant. Like, of course I'm not getting pregnant. I'm so far away from that. And I always tell them, it doesn't even matter, like, whether you're, here's the here. If you're all the way over here or you're here, it doesn't necessarily even make it harder. Sometimes the women who are very close to it are actually harder to get that last little bit than the women who are way over here. The women who start way on the other end, they make very fast progress, so they're actually very excited because each month their cycle is getting better and better. But it's the last 20% that can take the longest time, just like when you're losing weight. If you have 50 pounds to lose, the first 30 or 40 is easy, and the last 10 take the most muscle. And it's the same thing when you're trying to really overhaul a woman's reproductive health.